TikTok remains perplexing. And since a judge recently decided that I could probably still use TikTok even though my state has banned it, I'm gonna have to make decisions about it. And I don't know everything that TikTok wants, but I do know some things that TikTok wants because they're specific about it. They're not hiding it. But I am gonna caveat the whole conversation by saying social media platforms are very powerful. A social media platform that might be controlled by a government that is not good friends all the time with my government does worry me. I think if it doesn't worry you, that probably means you got some bias around the issue. And I have some bias around the issue. Like, I make money on TikTok, I make connections on TikTok. TikTok is fun for me, I like it. But this conversation is not about geopolitics or the Chinese Communist Party or the US government. It is about the business of social media. I just wanted to get that out of the way because people are going to be talking about it in the comments and, fight nicely. If you could, please. To talk a little bit about what I think TikTok wants, it's important to look at the current state of what it is incentivizing creators to do as compared to other platforms. There are basically 3 short-form swipeable vertical video platforms. I am of the opinion that by far the most significant innovation in these platforms is that you do not choose what you watch, you are presented with content. And so I call them swipeable video platforms. Let's start out with Shorts. That's YouTube's swipeable video platform. And what Shorts appears to want is for you to not spend as much time on TikTok. And what Shorts wants is videos that are shorter than 1 minute, because it will not allow you to upload videos that are longer than 1 minute and have them still be shorts. And YouTube, and I think this is true, does not monetize Shorts based on what it wants. It monetizes Shorts based on what it has done and its existing relationship with creators. However, because of record labels and the rights situation with regards to music, the deal is slightly different than it is for the rest of YouTube, but they share the revenue that gets made. So money gets made, YouTube gets some, record labels get some, creators get some. That's how it works. And if you want to make the case that YouTube is incentivizing something, the thing that they are incentivizing is stability. They aren't dumping a bunch of money in to have a short-term goal accomplished. They're saying, this is the revenue that we're making. This is your cut. This will always be your cut. If we make more, you will make more. And at the moment, it's not a lot. Now, it has started to creep up a little bit, but it's not a lot, and it's probably never going to be a lot, and there are structural reasons, and we'll get into them, why swipeable video platforms are just going to make less money through traditional advertising than other video platforms. Next on our list of swipeable video platforms is Meta's main one, which is Instagram Reels. I get a lot of views there as well. What they're trying to incentivize, as far as I can tell, is creators figuring it out on their own and not being so reliant on platforms to monetize for you. I don't know, man. I'm biased against Meta because they seem to not understand at all that it would be awful nice to have something we could rely on as creators instead of things that change, constantly appear, are huge, important, go away, and then the cycle begins again. They do have a monetization system right now. It's called Ads on Reels and Ads on Facebook. And the way that it works is it shares revenue on a very specific ad unit that is not by any means the most profitable ad unit they have. You will sometimes, rarely, depending on who you are, see an ad unit called Ads on Reels or Ads on Facebook Reels, where there's a little, an ad that covers the bottom 25% of the screen on someone's reel. This isn't the in-stream ad where you're watching a video and you swipe and you see an ad. It's actually sitting on top of the video. Wildly enough, as far as I can tell, it's impossible to tell how many views you get on Instagram Reels. I can take all the videos I uploaded in November and then put them in a spreadsheet and look at the views, but that doesn't count any of the videos that I uploaded before November that are still getting views. If you can figure out how to do it, please let me know, because it is wild to me that I do not know how many views I get on Reels. The reason I find it so infuriating is in part because it is so typical of Facebook to do it this way. But I do make a little bit of money through the Ads on Reels product. I make about $1,000 a month. That's on, I don't know, probably around 30 million views, which I've just realized I did not tell you about YouTube. On YouTube, I got around 40 million views on Shorts last month on Hank's channel, and I made around $4,500. That's like a 10-cent CPM. That's up substantially over the course of the year, so YouTube seems to be getting better at selling ads. Hopefully that will continue to be the case. And finally, we've arrived at the big dog of the swipeable video platform world. It's TikTok. What the frick do they want? Right now, they are incentivizing 2 things. The first is incentivized through the Creativity Program Beta. I think the Creativity Program Beta is pretty dope, except for the final word, which is beta, which to me implies don't expect this to not change. When YouTube shares Shorts revenue, it's sharing the money they're getting from advertisements on Shorts. And Shorts are hard to monetize for a bunch of reasons. They're really easy to skip. You have to share the revenue between multiple videos. The content is also short, so you can't expect to make the same amount of money from a 15-second long video that you would from a 10-minute long video, obviously. Also, important to keep in the back of your mind somewhere, if you care about this stuff, views mean different things to different people. And we're about to discover that views can mean different things to the same people. Wild! The Creativity Program Beta, instead of sharing the ad revenue with you, it says, hey, we're going to give you a really high CPM on your content. And we're not going to tell you why it's so high or how to get it higher, but it's going to be way higher than you are used to dealing with. With the Creativity Program Beta, I'm making between 80 to 90 cents per 1,000 views, which is a huge deal, especially on a shorter piece of content, which is where the caveat comes in, which is that only videos that are over a minute long are in the Creativity Program Beta. So it's very clear that one thing TikTok is incentivizing is not just long content, but longer content than the maximum length of the content that is allowed on their most competitive platform, YouTube Shorts. It's such a fun situation for creators, where the longest YouTube short you can make is a minute long, and the shortest TikTok you can monetize is a minute and 1 second long. I love it. It's so fun. It's such a creator-friendly world. This video is brought to you by Headspace. One thing I've learned in this job and in this life is that you will often be going through it. The way that you want the world to work will not be the way that it works, and there will very likely always be a next thing that wants your time and energy. But if everything is a bunch of gears all jammed together and there's no space for anything new to get in, very little gets done at all. To me, a guy with a lot to do, taking a moment for myself can often feel both counterproductive and selfish. But it's neither of those things. I can't do stuff if I don't also take care of myself. Headspace helps with that, with creating space for all of it. I don't think it's easy to be a person. We are trillions of cells all working together to try and be one thing, and that's not easy. I really believe that it takes a fair amount of conscious effort to do it better one day than the next. Headspace exists to be not just one tool, but many tools to help with that. If you want to see how Headspace might be helpful for you, you can try it out completely free for 60 days. All you got to do is sign up with my link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now. And you can let me know in the comments what you do to create a little extra space in your life. It's good to take a little break sometimes. Clears the head. So what were we talking about? TikTok seems to be sharing quite a lot of revenue with creators if they make videos longer than a minute, which means they can't use them as YouTube Shorts. Now, you can potentially reuse your over a minute long TikToks on Reels because they allow you to upload videos up to 90 seconds long. But again, the revenue share and the CPM there is much lower. When I first joined the Creativity Program Beta, I was making like 80 to 90 cents per 1,000 views on a TikTok longer than a minute. And that was pretty good. It's dropped since then. It's between 50 and 60 cents now. But even at 50 or 60 cents, with the amount of views a lot of people get on TikTok, I got like 37 million views last month. That would be a huge amount of money, like over $20,000 per month. But don't expect that to be the actual number. So first of all, a lot of those views are in content that's less than a minute long. Second, it also has to be something called a qualified view. And qualified views are anywhere between like 25% to 75% of views, and it's not entirely clear why. There's basically probably two big qualifications. First, the amount of time it takes for TikTok to count something as a view is shorter than the amount of time that TikTok requires for it to be a monetized view. I don't know exactly what these times are, but basically it might count it as a view at 2 seconds and a qualified view for monetization at like 15 seconds. Second, almost definitely a qualified view requires the viewer to be in a market that has good advertising right now. So if they're in the US, they'll count as a qualified view. If they're in Peru, they will not count as a qualified view. But even with all of that, I am now making way more on TikTok than I ever have before. And I am making more content that is more than a minute long. So TikTok is incentivizing longer content, both because they don't want creators to repurpose their content on YouTube and because they want longer content on the platform because that's how they move into YouTube space, the same way YouTube is moving into TikTok space. So if you are wondering, for me, if you average all of this out on YouTube, when I get a share of all of the revenue generated by all YouTube Shorts on YouTube, I get a roughly 11-cent CPM. On 41 million views last month, I made $4,400. On TikTok, where only videos longer than a minute are monetized and I get some share of ad revenue, I do not know what the percentage is, but I get something, and it might go away at any moment because they haven't said what it is, and it's called the Creativity Program Beta. For me, and this is going to be different for every person because you have a different proportion of videos longer than a minute to shorter than a minute, I make a 10-cent CPM. Last month, I made $3,600 on 37 million views. And on Reels, I don't know because I don't know how many views I get. I made about $1,000 last month. I have no idea. It could be anywhere from like maybe a 3-cent CPM to a 6-cent CPM, which for clarity is still better than what I was making on TikTok a year ago. But there is another thing that TikTok seems to desperately want, and it makes sense to me because I think TikTok has realized that TikToks are a bad way to make money for TikTok. By which I mean, as you can see from all of this stuff, I'm making videos that are longer than a minute and I'm getting a 10-cent CPM after a lot of time of them trying to figure out how to make it work. TikTok is just a bad advertising platform, and YouTube Shorts is too. And that's part of the reason why it's appealing for audiences, because they're doing that content scroll. If you can't swipe past an ad, you're gonna hate that TikTok user experience. So ads always have to be swipeable. There's no unskippable ads on TikTok, and I can't imagine there ever will be. Maybe it'll happen. It'll suck. I would hate that. So let me explain to you briefly why TikTok is pushing very hard towards social commerce. These are my cancer socks. I designed these while I was on chemotherapy, and TikTok paid me $20 to sell them every time I sold them, which is wild. Kinda. Basically, if these were purchased through TikTok Shop, and I encouraged people to do this, you'd get 30% off and free shipping, which basically added up to TikTok giving those purchasers like $20 of discounts that we didn't have to pay. TikTok paid for those. And I will attempt to explain to you briefly why they did that. TikTok is sticky. Everybody knows this. You always want to watch another video. That's why it is so successful. But if TikTok is sticky and I'm buying an ad for my cancer socks, then people are going to be unlikely to leave the platform to go buy socks on a website. And so I'm going to have to pay a lot of money for every person I actually get to take that huge leap to not see the next TikTok in their feed, which could be amazing. TikTok knows that this is a problem for advertisers, and it also knows that it can take this problem and turn it into an advantage by creating a marketplace on the app, which it has done. It's called TikTok Shop. With TikTok Shop, you can watch a video from me and it will say buy now, and you click and you're in TikTok Shop and you can buy it without ever leaving the app extremely quickly. You can see product pictures, you can see reviews, you can see all the things that you'd see on the website. You never have to leave the app. You just double click on your iPhone and you've purchased the cancer socks. And we haven't set this up with the cancer socks, and we might. You can actually, as a creator, go into like a little back-end marketplace and see how much money you could make selling different products. So you might be able to find some like bizarre seaweed pills and sell them, and every time somebody buys them, you make $5. And if you make a really compelling TikTok about why people should buy the seaweed pills because it's going to cure your cancer or clear up your acne or both, you might sell 10,000 of them and make $50,000. I use the example of the seaweed pills because that's literally something I saw. I saw people telling me that the seaweed pills would clean up your acne, which they won't, and it linked directly to a TikTok Shop thing for the seaweed pills that you could buy. This is troubling. Like when I do a brand deal, the lawyers are so annoying. Lawyers will prevent me from saying absolutely anything interesting. But this way, the brand has no idea what content is being made. So they're not responsible for any claims that the creator makes in the video when they're selling the seaweed pills. The seaweed pills sell themselves. I just put them on the platform and we see what happens. So TikTok Shop has the potential to be, I think, a good thing for everybody. You know, like it's a better way to monetize TikTok. Creators can sell things from the TikTok Shop and make commissions. People can get exposed to new products that they might want to buy. And TikTok, of course, takes a cut. Right now, they're only taking 5%, which is, to me, like a perfectly reasonable amount to take. I assume that's going to go up eventually. But right now, people are unused to using TikTok Shop. It's a very low friction way to buy things, but not the first time. The first time you're like, is this legit? And so you're going to buy something and make sure that it comes on time and make sure you get a good experience, and that's going to be great. And to get listed as like an authorized seller at dftba.com, we had to like jump through a bunch of hoops and promise certain like times between order and shipment and people reaching out to customer support and reply. They're really kind of hardcore about that. I would say less hardcore about promising quality products. And indeed, like this feels very home shopping networky, right? The products that are gonna do the best on TikTok Shop are the ones that creators will be able to find a way to sell, and they will make a lot of money per sale. And to me, that indicates maybe not the highest quality product. I mean, if the creator has the product in hand and they're actually trying it out and they think it's a good product, then I think that's fine. But if they're just picking from a list of things and there's like one product that costs $15 and they make $10 every time they sell it, a lot of people are going to try really hard to sell that product and maybe not do it in the way that's going to be best for the people buying it. So because TikTok is not a great advertising platform, They want to instead turn it into a sales platform. Instead of being like YouTube, which is ads and a subscription, they're going to be something new, which is ads and commerce. And while subscription dollars are great, commerce dollars are also very good. Amazon is big, and getting even a slight piece of Amazon's market share would be a big deal for ByteDance. I think there's a lot more to this story, especially when it comes to like the scammy way a lot of products are being sold right now. I've seen some that are like genuinely medically concerning, but I don't quite feel like I've done the due diligence yet to be able to talk about it. And this video is already very long. But overall, if you use TikTok, there's a good chance that you're among the folks for whom there are just a ton of TikTok shop links and a ton of ads now, because TikTok is well into its process of having got you hooked on the platform, and now is into the part of the process that we call enshittification, where the platform just gets worse and worse and worse as it tries to use those hooks that it has in you to turn you into revenue. It's already clearly a less cool platform, leaving space open for both Instagram and YouTube to take some market share away, which has created all kinds of fun dynamics. In general, my feeling is YouTube is a great place to make what I like to call longs. Thanks for watching my YouTube long, everybody. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to Hank's channel.